So there's just one more aspect of yesterday's completely clown car, humiliating Twitter hearings that Republicans orchestrated now that they control the House of Representatives that I want to look at separately. And it is about the snowflake triggered nature of the failed former President Donald Trump, who tried to get a tweet from celebrity Chrissy Teigen about him removed from Twitter. Now, there is some strong language in this segment. I'm giving you fair warning even before I get to it. I'm just letting you know that there is strong language in this segment. One of the stories that has been told by the right is that the Biden administration, which of course was not an administration at the time, it was a campaign, was demanding content be removed from Twitter simply because it was disadvantageous to Joe Biden. Now, when you evaluate that claim, what you find out is that the Biden administration wanted explicit images of Hunter Biden shared without his consent against Twitter terms of service and a crime in most states removed. And that was absolutely legitimate. But we have now found out that there was a tweet which just was insulting to Trump that he wanted removed. Here is Congressman Frost speaking to Twitter executives about this. Again, there is strong language here. Listen to what it was that Trump wanted removed from Twitter.
Ms. Naravoli, earlier you testified about a 2019 tweet that was about President Trump, and I think it was from Ms. Teigen. What was the tweet about?
Would you like me to give the direct quote?
Yeah.
Please excuse my language. This is a direct quote, but Chrissy Teigen referred to Donald Trump as a pussy ass bitch.
Okay. Free speech. And what happened after Ms. Teigen posted her tweet? What did the White House do? What did the Trump White House do?
From my understanding, the White House reached out to ask that this tweet be removed.
Now, folks, that's not a campaign. That's an administration. That is government calling Twitter, emailing Twitter, sending a smoke signal to Twitter and saying, remove the speech of this private citizen on a private platform.
It was my team's job. This fell underneath the policy for abusive behaviors, and we evaluated underneath our insults policy. At that time, up to 3 insults were allowed, and so it was our job to determine how many insults were included within that phrase.
So the Trump
Right.
White House reached out, not an agency, but the White House reached out and requested that you remove the tweet.
From my understanding, yes.
Yeah. That is the epitome of these right-wingers. The left wants everything censored. Well, they want images that are a crime censored. But you want Chrissy Teigen censored because she called you names. And the irony is that Trump's attempt to censor the tweet reinforces the accuracy of Chrissy Teigen's tweet. That's the amazing thing. They say Twitter censoring conservatives while they are demanding that liberals be censored for opinions that are of no national security implication. They're not doxing anybody. Nobody's at risk. Nobody's in danger. Trump has the best protection ever. Even if someone saw Chrissy Teigen's tweet and they wanted to go and do something to Trump, it is the theme of authoritarian narcissists being very thin-skinned. People like Trump, and we can look in history and find other examples, they see statements, they see criticism like this as a threat to their power and their ego. Hitler, Stalin, Kim Jong-un, just to name a few. They all had the same personality trait. Hitler, as the leader of Germany, was infamous for his sensitivity to criticism. And he saw media as a tool for propaganda. He would suppress criticism of his regime. He would censor newspapers. He would jail journalists because these authoritarian narcissists see themselves as threatened by any kind of criticism. Another example, Joseph Stalin, former leader of the Soviet Union. Stalin would brutally repress dissent. He would imprison and sometimes execute critics and political opponents. He saw criticism as a direct threat to his rule, and he did everything he could to silence it. And then more recently in North Korea, Kim Jong-un. And there's more, it goes earlier than just Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il and others. But an authoritarian leader who is so thin-skinned Kim Jong-un, notorious for strictly controlling information, suppressing dissent, and doling out severe punishment for criticism of the regime. Trump is not Hitler, Stalin, or Kim Jong-un, but Trump has that same authoritarian, narcissistic tendency that they do. And it's embarrassing and it's pathetic. And again, allegations are confessions. The left is trying to censor our speech. They're not, but you're trying to censor the left's speech. That's what we keep learning. Here's the perfect last-minute Valentine's Day gift. One of our sponsors, Paired, is the app that offers you daily questions, games, and guided conversations for couples designed by clinical psychologists. An independent study by Open University found couples who use Paired for 3 months see an average 36% increase in the quality of their relationship. Every day, Paired sends you and your partner prompts designed to let you emotionally connect in a meaningful way. You don't see their answer until you've answered. And using Paired just a few minutes a day lets you build a deeper knowledge of yourself and your partner, boost intimacy. There are hilarious moments as well. My girlfriend and I have been using it, and it is really funny and interesting. So this Valentine's Day, give a gift that will last beyond the holiday. Go to paired.com/Pacman, get a 7-day free trial and 25% off a subscription. Even the free trial makes an awesome gift. See if you like it. The link is down below.